The Volvo XC40 has already proven that it's a great family SUV as a petrol, diesel and a plug-in hybrid. Now as a fully electric car, it's entering entirely new territory for Volvo. This new fully electric XC40 is the first of 5 electric vehicles that Volvo is launching in the next 5 years, and the manufacturer wants electric cars to account for half of its global sales by 2025. Those bold ambitions start with the Volvo XC40 Recharge P8, and as you can see, it looks very similar to the fuel-powered versions of the XC40. The difference between this fully electric version and the rest of the range is that this XC40 grille is colour-coded, no matter what exterior colour you go for, which does look very different and makes it stand out. Other differences include the Recharge logos at the back of the car, and there's also exclusive alloy wheel designs. Inside, just like the outside, it's very similar to the other XC40s that we're used to. There are a few changes like the new infotainment system, which has been developed with Google and Android. It's essentially the same software used in the new Polestar 2, but the look of it is slightly different, and it's not a world away from what we're used to in previous Volvos. You get Google Maps as standard, and you also get Google Assistant to help with voice command functions. The infotainment is quick to respond to touch inputs, it looks slick, and it's got a nice layout, but one slight criticism remains, being that the icons for the submenus are just a bit on the small side. It would be more helpful if they were bigger, so that they're easier to hit on the move. You also have upgraded digital driver displays, so it's still a nice big screen, but the graphics and resolution are better than before. Elsewhere in the interior, it does feel really superior. You would assume the Audi e-tron to be the benchmark for electric car interior quality, but the XC40 is certainly among the best. There are some materials that are slightly cheaper feeling, but still really classy, very good quality, and this is exactly what you want for a car this price. Regarding performance, the first thing to say is that this is a very quick car. It's one of the most powerful Volvos ever made. It's got 2 electric motors, and both of them have 201 brake horsepower. With the total output of 408 brake horsepower and all-wheel drive, all that power and torque means this is a seriously quick car. It's quick enough to go from 0 to 100 km an hour in just 4.9 seconds. This makes it comfortably the quickest XC40 in the lineup, and that's impressive because it's also incredibly heavy. The lightest XC40 with a petrol engine weighs just 1600 kilograms, but this is more than 2000 kilograms, which is pretty chunky. The acceleration really is enough to properly pin you back into your seat, but it's not as quick as a Tesla Model 3. It's still quicker than many other electric cars on sale. And yet, you don't necessarily want to drive this car incredibly quickly, because it's tall and it's heavy. So if you do go around a corner relatively quickly, then there's quite a lot of body lean. It doesn't feel completely out of control, but you still get the feeling that this car is made for more of a gentle driving around town or a longer distance motorway cruise, because it does have a good ride and it's very impressive in that respect. The problem being that potholes and broken roads do intrude on the suspension, with some hard, uncomfortable thuds as you pass over things that an Audi e-tron would glide over. It's not enough to detract too much though, from what is a quiet and quick EV. There are a few different settings that you have for the car as well. To get to them, you click on the settings button and you're presented with a pretty overwhelming manual, instead of some friendly, nice icons with very small text, which can be difficult to read. If you're not familiar with the system, this can make it a little overwhelming and not especially easy to use on the move. Using regenerative braking, you lift off the accelerator and the car will slow itself down and will eventually bring it to a complete stop. This is great around town because it means you just hardly ever have to touch the brake pedal. But the thing is now, in the electric car world, if you really want to grab headlines and grab the attention of the mainstream, then you've got to have a product that's either really cheap or has the ability to travel really far on a single charge. Starting from around €53,000, which definitely isn't cheap no matter what kind of realm your bank balance operates in, the WLTP range of this car is rated up to 417 kilometers, which is good, and it's among the better ranges available for new EVs, but it's not really an average petrol tank range yet. There's a charge port where you would have found the petrol cap, and power comes from a 78 kilowatt per hour lithium iron battery, which is exactly the same as the one you'll find in the Polestar 2. Although this is Volvo's first fully electric car, the Polestar sub-brand was launched a couple of months earlier with its own fully electric vehicle. Charging the battery using a 150 kilowatt charger will go from 0% to 80% in just 40 minutes. From a home wall box charger, you'll need an overnight charge to get the full charge. The battery is under the floor, which means there's a slightly reduced ground clearance of 175mm compared to 211mm in the regular model. The space inside and the 452 litre boot capacity is unchanged, but you'll still have loads of space in the back, plus a new handy spot in the front to keep the charging cables. The competition, such as the VW ID3 and Tesla Model 3, come at ranges of over 600 kilometers, which is seriously impressive. In this XC40, because it doesn't offer that, it means it doesn't have the instant kind of class-changing revolutionary impact. It's still a very good electric car, it feels plush throughout, and the acceleration really is very impressive. It's not a complete game changer, but that doesn't stop it from being a very good electric car. This P8 Recharge version is more expensive than a Tesla Model 3 Performance, and it's not far off twice the cost of a Kia e-Niro, which admittedly isn't as nice on the inside, but will go further on a full charge. The XC40 is a beautifully engineered creation with excellent performance, exceptional refinement, and no compromise on practicality. Its only downfall is its range. If they could just up the range on the XC40 Recharge, then we'd have the full and complete package.